What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is wAFF, and we're going to be watching the new 11-minute gameplay of Halo campaign that just dropped, like, now. I thought it was going to come out tomorrow. I planned to do this tomorrow, and I've just gone onto my Instagram and seen it's already dropped. So my head's already falling off. I can't wait to see it. I have no idea what we're going to really see. It's just 11 minutes of gameplay. So I guess we're going to see 11 minutes of gameplay. Also, apologies for the way that I probably am in this video. I am pretty sick at the moment. I've got a cold or a flu. I feel horrendous. I'm exhausted. I just dragged myself off the sofa to do this because I don't want to miss it. I'm really excited. I want you guys to see my reaction and just so we can talk about it. But yeah, Halo is much more important than my health. Oh, here we go. Oh, sick. Wait a minute. That isn't ATRIOX, is it?
The biggest surprise I had coming out of my few hours of playing Halo Infinite's campaign wasn't the delightful exploration nor the incredibly fun gunplay. Instead, it came down to the characters. Halo Infinite sees the legendary Master Chief once again tasked with saving the universe from yet another threat. And after 5 major campaigns, the Chief seems tired. He's a man of few words, but his movements and responses are heavier than I've seen before. This is Chief without CORTANA. His subtle yet distinct change is far from a bad thing, though. If anything, Master Chief's forlorn demeanor that he sets aside to get the job done is a great indication to me that Halo Infinite's story is intended to be a more impactful adventure.
I like that. Good. That sounded good. I like what she said. Positive so far.
It's been 6 months. Where have you been?
What happened? Where is Cortana?
Chief's stern determination is also wonderfully contrasted to his new AI companion's bubbly enthusiasm and his pilot rescuer's anxiety and weariness. Given developer 343 Industries' failure to give Locke the faintest hint of a personality or motive in Halo 5, and the game's generally lackluster story, this was a relief.
Oh, thank God for that.
Not then! Not again! We need to run!
I need a weapon.
Weapon? This is all I've got.
It's enough.
Graphics are sick now.
Halo Infinite's contrasting characters aren't the only things to look forward to, though. Rewarding exploration infused with Halo's DNA and genuinely challenging combat could be a relief in today's open-world game extravaganza.
What? That looks sick!
Where many worlds are packed to the brim.
No way, that looks well good.
And few offer meaningful adventures beyond their main path. If things continue the way I played in my 4-hour hands-on time, I think Halo Infinite could fall into the latter. That's not to say there aren't some essential elements of Halo Infinite I'm curious to see if 343 can pull off, like Chief's storyline with Cortana. For now, what I played in my preview session has left me even more eager for Halo Infinite's December 8th launch.
Good, good. All this is good. Challenging combat. That's exactly what I want to hear. Like, more challenging.
16. Can you hear me? This is UNS.
Dun, 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 dun.
Time and time again, Master Chief has woken up to fight a new enemy. Halo Infinite largely sees
he looks
that
sick there.
by instead focusing on familiar
yes.
fodder with the Banished from Halo Wars 2. They eagerly step up as Chief's main adversaries after handily defeating the UNSC around Zeta Halo,
This looks
Master
sick.
Chief. Their goal for Zeta Halo is unknown, but if it involves a Halo ring, there's nothing good that can come of it. After the UNSC's loss, Master Chief's main objective becomes freeing the captured Allied forces on Zeta Halo and thwarting whatever the Banished are planning.
I am ESCHARUM, War Chief of the Banished.
Ooh, this is cool. That's sick.
Cortana was presented as a mystery rather than as a primary antagonist in what I played. What happened to her after Halo 5 and whether or not she's been truly destroyed is unknown. This crucial conflict seemingly takes a backseat to the larger fight with the Banished, though it is intertwined somehow. Without getting into spoilers, I will say the few moments that dug into Chief and Cortana's relationship were an emotional gut punch. Halo Infinite is looking to deliver a meaningful story for legacy Halo fans,
Yes.
and I really needed to fulfill that promise after Halo 5's story missteps.
Sick. Look at the detail of
Not the
gloves and
driver,
stuff.
but a way to level the playing field.
What do I call her?
Ask her. She named herself. Hello, Master Chief. I'm Cortana.
What?
This all being said,
Wait.
I'm not optimistic that Halo Infinite is going to be a great starting point for new people to the franchise. as the best moments I saw in the first few hours rely on prior knowledge of the series. I don't like the idea of people being left behind, but I selfishly prefer that this game is made for returning Halo fans rather than tuning the story to accommodate new players. Familiar with the story or not though, Halo Infinite sure is fun to play and explore.
I
Okay.
think I'm with you.
Well, I'm happy
I
about
didn't
that.
even know what a banished was an hour ago, and even I can see the odds aren't great.
The graphics look wicked though. I'm really happy with the graphics now. I want to say more, but I don't want to talk over the girls, so...
Playing Halo Infinite is a mix of familiar and new. One moment you're navigating encounters and ship corridors, then the next you're driving several Marines around the open fields of Zeta Halo. As 343 has clearly stated, Halo Infinite isn't quite a true open world game despite it featuring massive sandboxes.
Good. I don't want it to be
Zeta
fully
Halo is
open.
broken up into island chunks. Land masses can be connected by bridges, and Chief can eventually call in things like a wAFF to fly around anywhere after they're unlocked. So
Cool.
eventually we may get to freely explore unlocked areas, but our range will be limited and more focused at first. Zeta Halo is littered with UNSC camps called Forward Operating Bases that were claimed by the Banished after the UNSC lost the big fight. Clearing a base and reclaiming it replaces the Banished with Marines. Even better, cleared bases convert to instant fast travel points and earn you Valor. Worry not.
Far Cry
Valor
then.
isn't some sort of spendable currency. It's instead a point-based tracker of how much ground the UNSC has on Zeta Halo. The more Valor you have, the better backup and gear you can call in. As far as I could tell, earning Valor and reclaiming the Broken Ring is entirely optional. So what else can you do when you're not hunting down the next clue to the Banished plan? People don't just get to give the Master Chief a fetch quest. The only one who really gives Master Chief any sort of command is a new AI codenamed the
The
Weapon.
weapon.
She's meant to destroy Cortana and is in turn supposed to be destroyed when her operation is complete. Though Cortana is seemingly gone, the weapon remains and is happy to assist Master Chief until she reaches her eventual demise. Much like Cortana, the weapon will call out enemy attacks, notable objectives, banished facilities that need destroying, and Marines in need of rescuing. I was more likely to come across a random patrol of enemies than an actual objective, but it didn't feel like I had to go too far to find something fun to do. I enjoyed the quiet moments though. Following Zeta Halo's native space groundhogs or just enjoying
Sick.
the view was a pleasant reprieve from the action. When I was ready to get back to it though, I could also hunt down and eliminate special targets to collect a unique version of their signature weapon that's equipable at Bob's. And of
Wicked.
course, there are plenty of collectibles. A new
Good.
scanner tool does make them a bit easier to find, if you have an idea of where to look. The scanner's range is rather limited though, so it's not a free pass to finding secrets. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Grunt and Marine dialogue. They're hilarious. The Grunts are as silly and oddly aggressive as ever, and have a surprising number of lines.
Humans would never fight grunts like us. He's
Heck.
here!
I love the
Marines
grunts.
are far more confident and excited about joining the Chief in battle. Their commentary made exploring all the more enjoyable.
I like that. You get more dialogue from the Marines. It kind of feels like you really are, like, working alongside them.
Just because Zeta Halo is a larger, more open sandbox doesn't mean 343 suddenly has us doing puzzles or tasks unbecoming of a genetically augmented super soldier like Master Chief. Fighting enemies and destroying their stuff is always at the center of Halo Infinite's gameplay, and whether I was taking on a roaming pack of Banished or infiltrating a fortress for a story mission, the more open nature only served to give me more options for combat.
Okay. I don't like the taking over bases thing. It's like Far Cry
If you
in
had a
it.
chance to check out either of the multiplayer test flights, Halo Infinite's excellence in weaponry should come as no surprise. The campaign introduced me to other interesting weapons we've yet to see in multiplayer, like the Disruptor, a small shock pistol that doesn't do too much immediate damage, but deals out pain over time.
I was hoping there was going to be
The
more
equipment
weapons than what we've
seen in
seen.
multiplayer unsurprisingly takes on a more powerful form in the campaign. Each of the 5 equipment options, grapple shot, shield core, threat sensor, drop wall, and thruster, can be upgraded with a collectible called Spartan Cores. Like most of the open world elements, finding the Spartan Cores and upgrading equipment is optional. Master Chief won't start the adventure with all equipment either. You'll find new tools to play with at specific story beats. Lacking a piece of equipment doesn't necessarily mean you're blocked off from certain areas from what I saw, but getting to or taking on difficult encounters might be more manageable should you have more equipment.
Okay. I like the sound of this.
Most of the big story beats happen in large, foreboding structures that could be viewed as something akin to dungeons. These offer a more classic Halo experience. Grunts, jackals, brutes, and elites made up the bulk of the opponents I faced. Their role, weapon, and armor variety didn't feel lacking in combat.
There's no
I came
flood
across
yet.
one set of brutes that were so geared up they nearly qualified as a mini boss fight. The hunters make a return too, and are fun to fight as always.
Oh, good. I'm
This
happy
being
that
another
that's...
ring, the flood was alluded to, though I never saw them. The Prometheans weren't present either. 343's vision of recapturing the essence of combat evolved in Halo Infinite means there's
Sick.
not really room for them, and honestly, I had plenty of fun without them. I didn't see any drones either, so I'm hoping the new flying enemies equipped with hardlight weapons, the skimmers, will be their replacement. The real combat stars, though, are the boss fights. The first one with a brute lieutenant named Tremonius absolutely kicked my ass at first on heroic difficulty. A moment
Sick.
without movement rewarded Tremonius as he entered the encounter guns blazing and took me out twice in a row.
Yes, this makes me so
I had been
happy.
handling heroic without any issues up until that point, so I was stunned to see how Tremonius' aggression and support from 2 jackals paid off. I quickly got to work on a strategy and happily took on the challenge.
I'm so happy that the boss fights are challenging. Like, good. And even the brutes below them are, like, still
I have
challenging.
thus far only explored a fraction of Halo Infinite. Though the map isn't as large as something you'd find in an Assassin's Creed. Far
Good.
from it, I'd say. What it does hold seems to offer something more curated with excellent combat at its heart. The story part is what I'm most curious about now. 343 needs to stick the landing in the plot department, especially with regard to giving us a satisfying resolution to the Chief and Cortana's relationship.
Very
If they
true.
can finally deliver that well-rounded classic Halo experience, then they'll have successfully and definitively made Halo their own. For more on Halo Infinite, check out our exclusive reveal of
Is
the
that
States multiplayer map, and stay tuned all November long for more IGN First coverage on Master Chief's latest adventure.
Sick. Just starting a mission like that is so cool. There we have it. There we have it. Okay, this actually looks really, really promising now. It did look promising anyway from the last things that we've seen, like the multiplayer being received so well. Graphics look way better. The last sort of gameplay reveal that we got, which was sick, like the gameplay overview, that blew me away when I watched that. If you haven't watched my reaction, go back and watch that. Also, this just looks like it's going to be a really, really solid Halo game, and that's what I want. I just want... It's gonna, I don't think you're ever gonna be able to beat the original 3 Halo games because they're just, I mean, especially for someone like me and many other Halo fans who've grown up with it, we're so accustomed to a certain type of Halo. It's nostalgic to us. Like, it's so difficult to even compare anything to them. But this feels like the closest we've had since Halo 3. But also, this now is kind of like realizing probably the vision that Bungie had of like the scale that they probably couldn't do back then when Halo first came about. Back then when Halo first came about, it was so huge anyway. It wasn't open world, but in that time it was open world, and it was like, it completely changed gaming. And I just remember that just blowing my mind when I first played it, knowing that you could just drive into the sea and just like keep going and just fly, just go anywhere you want, get into these spacecrafts and just fly about in Banshees and all these different vehicles. It was just a whole new world of gaming. So I feel like this has captured exactly that from the original games, but, you know, they've made it so much bigger, the graphics are better. I feel like 343 have nailed it to give us a real Halo game again. And she did say that it might be difficult for newcomers to join it, which is going to be anyway, because you have to either start a whole new Halo storyline and just not follow on from Halo 5, which shouldn't happen, because then the story is just like, it's just not correct. It should be like linear all the way through. There should be a correct storyline. So I'm glad that they have continued it from Halo 5 and made it accessible for new people, but mainly focused for people who know Halo, which is mainly anyone anyway. Like, most people have played Halo, I think. But anyway, so she does say that it is kind of not so inviting to new players. That might be an issue for new players, but it looks like such a good game. I feel like everyone's going to enjoy it. My only worry about this is the Far Cry-esque type of game. Like, I'm playing Far Cry 6 now and I'm sick of it. I'm probably halfway through, maybe a little bit more, and I'm just so bored of it. It's just the same thing every single Far Cry. Like, yeah, okay, you have these great characters that's keeping me on the game itself because I'm just not interested in the gameplay anymore. I've done it for so many hours, just doing the same thing, that I'm bored. So I am a little bit concerned about taking over these bases and of the Banished, and then your Marines moved in, and you capture the point, then it opens up a fast travel location. And we've seen that so many times now that it doesn't excite me anymore. So I am a little bit like, Also, I like the fact that the world isn't so open. It's not an open world, which I'm so happy about because I'm a little bit bored of open world games. And also I feel like open world games kind of take you a bit out. Well, not a bit. For me personally, I lose track of the story. If it's linear, I can follow the story and I feel like it's more cinematic. More things happen that's more like impactful, and I don't know, I feel like it's way more immersive when it's more linear. When you start to have open world, it starts to become a little bit lost, the story. I feel like that anyway. So Halo is my favorite game ever. It's my favorite franchise. I love it. It's so close to my heart. Every single character, all of it. I just love it. I grew up with it. I've played it. Probably the most I've ever played any game is definitely Halo. And it means a lot to me that this is good. I want it to be good because Halo 5 was terrible. It just was a shit game. I enjoyed it at the time, but it was shit. So I'm really hoping that they fucking nail this. I really hope that they nail it, and it looks like they are going to. The graphics look great now. I have no issues with any of the graphics. It doesn't look next gen, which is a bit of a... It is a bit shit. It doesn't look like next gen because we have this new most powerful console ever in the world, Series X, and we've got Halo, which is their #1 game, and doesn't even look like next gen. So it's a bit annoying, but still, it still looks amazing. I'm happy with it. I've got no problems with it anymore. The story looks great. I'm interested to see more of the pilot. I'm really interested to see what happens with Cortana. I like the weapon so far. I'm interested to see what her relationship's going to be like with Chief and how they play out. I really, really, really hope that there is some part of the game where you have to deal with the Flood. Just like take us to an area where it's just like a horror game and you just got to go through like all these different banished like outposts or whatever underground or in spaceships, whatever, and they're just covered in Flood. The Flood are there, and it's just like a horror game. It's dark, and I just want that. I want that game like what we had in Halo CE. I want that moment, in the game where you just fight in the Flood, and it was just so tense then. And I love that, and we haven't seen it yet, and she hasn't mentioned anything about it, so I'm like, maybe they're just not in it. But they could introduce it towards the end or even halfway through the game. She only played 5 hours, which also is something I'm concerned about. I really hope that the game's long. I don't want it to be like all the other Halo games where they last, it feels about 8 hours long or something, if that. So I'd like to see like a 15, 20 hour Halo game. I mean, I would love a 30 hour Halo game, but we're not going to get that out. Well, you never know, but I don't think we will. So, yeah. I think this looks great. I can't fucking wait to get it. I'm buzzing. I haven't got a Series X, but I do have a really good gaming computer, so I'm probably going to have to play it on that. I really want a Series X, though, with the Halo Series X, with the Halo pad. I need that. Yeah, what else was there? Oh, the boss fights. The boss fights are challenging. She said that they are really challenging. Yes, I like that. She said the first boss fight, Tremonius, kicked her ass twice. Good. I hope there's many boss fights, and that they get more difficult as you go on. And I really, really like that. I'm happy about that. And also she said that even the brutes that are like sort of armored up, there's moments with them where they feel like mini boss fights because they're just so difficult. That's sick. Good. I want it to be more challenging. That makes me feel like the hunters are going to be way more difficult and more challenging, which they should be because they're massive and they've got like this huge, powerful laser beam. I would like to see the explosions looking better in this game. The explosions have never looked good in Halo, but this just doesn't look that good. Like the explosions and stuff when bombs are going off or plasma, what are they called? The plasma boxes, them. When they go off, it just doesn't look that good. But it's not an issue. I just would like to see more. Basically, I want to see a next-gen Halo, alright? So yeah, that's it, guys. I'm absolutely loving it. It looks amazing. I'm sold. I was sold anyway before I've seen anything. It's Halo. I'm going to get it forever. But looking at it, I feel like it's going to be a solid game. I can't wait. I really can't wait to play multiplayer as well. I've never played Halo multiplayer ever, so which is weird. I was just a campaign guy. I did play split screen multiplayer with my friend on the sofa when Halo first came out, and we just one-on-one, and that was just, we spent most of the time doing that, but actually online with other people, I've never done that in Halo, so I can't wait to do it. But yeah, guys, let me know down below, are you looking forward to this? Are you a Halo fan? Do you enjoy Halo? Tell me everything you think about Halo. I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you did enjoy this video, please drop me a like. That would be amazing for me. And if you want to stay updated with my content, then please hit the subscribe button. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you next time on wAFF World.